The alarm screamed through the halls of Luna Base 7. Jake Miller ran down the metal corridor, his boots making loud sounds on the floor. He had been sleeping when the emergency call came in. Now he was wide awake. Jake pushed open the doors too. The communication center. Inside, people were running around looking worried. Screens showed numbers and strange signals. The room buzzed with activity. "What do we have?" Jake asked, as he walked up to the main console. Dr. Lisa Park looked up. From her computer, her face was pale and her hands shook a little. "Commander Miller, you need to hear this." Picked up a signal from deep space. "It's not like anything we've seen before." Jake sat down next to her. "Show me what you found." Lisa pressed a button. Strange sounds filled the room. It sounded like music mixed with words, but not in any language Jake knew. The sounds were soft and scared. "This came from the Kepler 442 system," Lisa said. "It's 47 light-years away. The signal is weak, but I've been working on it for 3 hours." Amy Bell, a young worker at the station, came over with a cup of coffee. Her eyes were red from staying up all night. "Dr. Park has been amazing. She figured out how to understand parts of it." Jake took the coffee and drank some. It was strong and hot. "What are they saying?" Lisa pulled up another screen. Words appeared in English, but they looked strange. "I used our translation programs. The beings call themselves the Valari. They're asking for help." She played the message again, but this time words appeared on the screen as the aliens spoke. Jake read them out loud. "Help us, anyone who can hear this. The Devourers have come to our world. They eat everything. Our people are dying. We cannot stop them." The room became quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing to listen. "More," Lisa said. She fast-forwarded through the signal. "They mention Earth specifically." Jake leaned forward. "What do they say about us?" Lisa looked nervous. "They call Earth a death world. They say no thinking being should be able to live here. They think we must be very advanced to survive on such a dangerous planet." Captain Rick Stone walked into the room. He was a big man, with gray hair and serious eyes. "I heard the alarms. What's the emergency?" Jake pointed to the screen. "First contact Rick, and they need our help." Rick sat down and listened to the message. His face got more serious as he heard it. "Death world. Is that what they think of?" "Earth, apparently," Lisa said. "I found more information in their signal. They have a database about different planets. Earth is listed as extremely dangerous. High gravity, violent weather, poisonous atmosphere for most species." Amy spoke up. "But we live here just fine. It's our home." "That's exactly the point," Lisa said. "To them, we're like monsters who can survive anywhere. They're scared of us, but they're so desperate, they're asking for our help anyway." Jake stood up and walked around the room. His mind was working fast. "Tell me about these Devourers." Lisa brought up more text from the signal. "From what I can understand, they're like bugs, big ones. They travel from planet to planet and eat everything alive. Plants, animals, people. They leave nothing behind." "Long have the Valari been fighting them?" Rick asked. "The signal mentions 8 months," Lisa said. "They've lost most of their colonies. Their homeworld is under attack now." Jake looked at the star map on the wall. Kepler 442 was very far away. "Can we even reach them?" Rick nodded slowly. "The new ships can do it. The experimental, faster than light. Drives are ready for testing. This could be their first real mission." "But is it smart to get involved?" Amy asked. "We don't know anything about space politics. What if we make things worse?" Lisa played another part of the message. This time, the alien voices sounded like they were crying. "Please, if any civilized species can hear this, help us. We are peaceful. We have never hurt anyone. The Devourers will destroy everything if they are not stopped." The room was quiet. Again, Jake could hear the air systems working and computers humming. He thought about the scared aliens asking for help. Commander Rick said quietly, "This could change everything for humanity. First contact with aliens, but it could also be very dangerous." Jake looked at everyone in the room. Lisa was still working on the translation. Amy was reading more of the alien message. Rick was studying the star charts. "Dr. Park," Jake said, "can you send a message back to them?" Lisa looked surprised. Yes, I think so. I've figured out their communication system. But what would we say? Dake thought for a moment. Outside the windows of the space station, he could see Earth below them. It looked blue and green and peaceful, but he knew the aliens were right. Earth was a dangerous place. Storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, wild animals. Humans had learned to survive all of it. Maybe that was exactly what the Valari needed. Tell them we received their message, Jake said. Tell them Earth is sending help. Rick stood up quickly. Jake, we need to think about this. We're talking about war against unknown aliens. Our ships have never been tested in real combat. People are dying, Jake said. They asked for help and we can give it. Isn't that what we should do? Lisa looked up from her computer. Commander, there's something else. The Valari mentioned that the Devourers have never been stopped. Every world they attack gets completely destroyed. They're winning everywhere, Amy added. Maybe they need someone who comes from a death world. Someone who knows how to fight too. Survive. Jake made his decision. Dr. Park, send the message. Captain Stone, start preparing the ships. We're going to help them. As Lisa started typing the response message, Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, aliens were dying and asking for help. Earth was about to answer that call. He just hoped they were ready for what humans could do when they decided to fight. 6 months later, Colonel Sam Wright stood on the bridge of the UES Frontier. Through the big windows, he could see the other 2 ships in their fleet. The UES Liberty and UES Guardian flew next to them like metal birds in the darkness of space. Colonel, we're getting close to the Kepler 442 system, said Lieutenant Kate Murphy from her pilot seat. Her hands moved over the controls with skill. The new drive systems worked perfectly. We made the trip in half the time we thought it would take. Sam nodded and looked at the screens showing their destination. After 6 months of travel, they were finally here. The trip had given them time to learn everything they could about the aliens who needed help. Dr. Ben Clark walked over to Sam with a tablet in his hands. Colonel, I've been studying the Valari communications we received during the journey. They're very different from us. How different? Sam asked. They're bird-like creatures. Light bones, thin bodies, designed for low gravity. Their planet has gentle weather and soft winds. They've never had to deal with storms, earthquakes, or dangerous animals, Ben explained. Their whole society is built around peace and harmony. Chief. Engineer Tom Davis joined them at the main console. His uniform was dirty from working on the ship's systems. That explains why they can't fight these devourer things. They've never had to learn how to be violent. Sam thought about this. Humans had learned to fight because Earth made them. Wild animals, natural disasters, diseases. Everything on Earth tried to kill humans, so humans learned to kill back. Kate called out, I'm picking up signals from the system. It looks like there's a big battle happening. Sam moved to her station. On the screen, he could see dots of light moving around a planet. Some dots were small and moved in groups. Others were larger and moved alone. Small ones must be the Devourers, Ben said. Look how many there are. Tom counted the dots on the screen. Thousands of them. Maybe tens of thousands. How are we supposed to fight that many? Before Sam could answer, a new voice came through the communications system. It was soft and musical, like the wind through trees. Unknown ships, this is the Valari orbital station. Please identify yourselves. Are you here to help us? Sam took the microphone. This is Colonel Sam Wright of the Earth Rescue Fleet. We received your distress call. We're here to help. There was a long pause. Then the voice came back, but it sounded scared. Did you say Earth, the death world? Yes. We're from Earth. We came as fast as we could. Another pause. Please dock with our station. We need to meet you in person. But please be careful. We are not strong like you. Kate guided their ship toward the alien station. It was beautiful, made of white metal that curved like flower petals. It looked nothing like the hard square human ships. When they docked, Sam put on his best uniform. He brought Dr. Clark and Tom with him. He walked through the airlock into the alien station. The first thing Sam noticed was how light everything felt. The gravity was much weaker than Earth's. The second thing he noticed was how the aliens looked. The Volari were about as tall as humans, but much thinner. They had feathers instead of hair, and their faces looked like a mix of bird and human. Their eyes were large and golden. When they saw the humans, they stepped backward. The leader of the aliens came forward slowly. His feathers were silver and blue. "I am Zephyr Song of Linz, leader of this station. You are really from the Death World, Earth." "Yes," Sam said. He tried to speak softly so he wouldn't scare them. "We came to help you fight the Devourers." Zephyr's eyes got even bigger. He did not think it was possible. "Creatures from a death world coming to help us. In our stories, Deathworlders are monsters." Dr. Clark stepped forward. "We're not monsters. We're just people who learn to survive on a dangerous planet." "Your planet has acid rain," said another. "Valarian metal-eating bacteria, creatures that hunt other creatures for food. How do you live there?" Tom laughed. "We just learned to deal with it. Humans are tough." The aliens looked at each other with worry. Sam realized they were scared of humans, even though humans were here to help them. "Can you show us what we're fighting?" Sam asked. "We need to understand." "The Devourers." Zephyr led them to a room with big screens. The screens showed the battle happening around their planet. Sam could see the Devourer ships now. They looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh. "They've been attacking for 2 months, Zephyr explained. "We cannot stop them. Our weapons only make them angry. They eat our ships and use the metal to make more of themselves." Sam watched the battle. The Volari ships moved in careful patterns, trying to avoid the enemy. Their weapons shot blue beams that seemed to push the Devourers away but didn't destroy. "Then why don't you just blow them up?" Tom asked. The aliens looked shocked. "Blow them up? You mean destroy them completely?" "Well, yes, they're trying to eat you. You need to kill them before they kill you." Zephyr's feathers trembled. "How we do? Not kill. It is against our nature. We try to disable our enemies, not destroy them." Sam began to understand the problem. The Volari were too gentle to fight a war. They had never learned to be violent because their world never taught them violence. "Many of your people have died," Dr. Clark asked quietly. 70% of our population," Zephyr said sadly. "Entire colonies have been consumed. Soon our home world will fall too." Sam looked at his team. Tom and Dr. Clark looked angry. They understood what Sam was thinking. "Zephyr," Sam said, "we're going to help you. But you need to understand something. Humans fight differently than you do. We fight to win no matter what it takes." "What does that mean?" Zephyr asked. Sam looked out at the battle on the screens. Thousands of Devourer ships were getting closer to the planet where millions of Volari lived. "It means we're going to show you why the galaxy is scared of Deathworlders." Sergeant Mike Johnson crawled through the broken metal of a destroyed Volari ship. His team followed behind him, moving quietly through the wreckage. They were deep in enemy territory, studying the Devourers up close. "Stay low," Mike whispered. Into his radio, "I can see 3 of them ahead." Through his helmet's camera, the team back on the human ships could see what Mike saw. The Devourers looked like giant ants mixed with spiders. They had 6 legs, sharp claws, and mouths full of metal teeth. They were tearing apart the Volari ship and eating the metal. Dr. Helen Ross watched from the medical bay on the UES frontier. "Look at how they move," she said to Lieutenant Nick Brown. They worked together like a hive mind, one brain controlling all of them. Nick was taking notes on his computer. "That could be their weakness. If we can disrupt their communication, they might get confused." Behind them, Corporal Maria Santos was cleaning her weapons. "I don't care how they think. I just want to know how to kill them." On the screen, Mike's camera showed one of the Devourers eating a piece of the ship's hull. The creature's mouth glowed red hot as it melted the metal and swallowed it. "Jesus," Mike whispered. "They're not just eating the ship, they're absorbing it. Look at its shell." The Devourer's back was growing new armor plates made from the ship's metal. It was getting bigger and stronger as it ate. "That's how they reproduce," Dr. Ross said. "They don't just eat for food, they eat to build more of themselves." Nick's computer beeped. "I'm getting readings on their biology. They're mostly organic, but they have metal parts too, like living." Machines. Suddenly, one of the Devourers turned toward Mike's hiding spot. Its eyes glowed green in the darkness. "It sees me," Mike said, moving to backup position. Mike and his team moved quickly through the wreckage. The Devourer made a sound like grinding metal and started following them. "Get out of there." Colonel Wright's voice came through the radio. "Working on it, sir," Mike said as he ran. The Devourer was fast, but Mike was faster. Jumped over broken pieces of the ship and slid under twisted metal beams. His team was right behind him. They reached their small scout ship and took off quickly. The Devourer tried to follow, but it couldn't fly. Back on the human fleet, everyone was watching the video from Mike's mission. The Volari were there too, looking scared. "How did you move so fast?" Zephyr asked Mike when he returned. "That gravity field was 3 times stronger than our home world." Mike took off his helmet and wiped sweat from his face. "That's nothing. Earth's gravity is even stronger than that. We're used to it." The Volari looked at each other with amazement. To them, Mike had just done something impossible. "What did you learn?" "They're tough, but they're not invincible," Mike said. "They don't like sudden temperature changes. When I used my heat gun, it slowed them down." Dr. Ross pulled up data on her computer. "That makes sense. They're cold-blooded like insects. Extreme heat or cold would mess up their body functions." "About their weapons?" Nick asked. "They don't really have weapons," Mike said. "They just use their claws and teeth, but they're strong. I saw one tear through a steel beam like it was paper." Maria looked at the video again. "They're tough. Up close, but they can't fight at long range." "That's good for us," Zephyr spoke up nervously. "We tried to fight them for months. Nothing worked." "Good. They just kept coming." "Because you were trying to capture them, not kill them," Colonel Wright said. "You were using stun weapons and trying to disable their ships." "Yes, that is our way," Zephyr said. "We do not believe in taking life." "Well, they don't have that problem," Mike said. "They're trying to eat your entire species." Dr. Ross finished reading the data from Mike's mission. "I have good news and bad news." The good news is that they have several weaknesses. Temperature changes, certain sound frequencies, and they seem to have trouble with unpredictable movements. "What's the bad news?" Wright asked. "There are millions of them, maybe billions. They reproduce fast, and they're getting stronger by eating your ships and buildings," she said to Zephyr. Zephyr's feathers drooped. "Then we have already lost." "There are too many of them, not if we hit them the right way," Wright said. "We don't fight them ship to ship. We go after their source." Nick brought up a map on the big screen. "I've been studying their movement patterns. They all come from one place. A huge ship in the outer part of your solar system. It's like a mobile hive. That's where their queen must be," Mike said. "Take out the queen, and the workers will die." "How do we get close to it?" Zephyr asked. "Surrounded by thousands of defenders." Wright smiled. "We don't sneak up on it. We go straight through them." The Volari looked terrified. "That's suicide. No one can fight that many enemies at once." "You can't," Maria said. "But we can. Humans have been fighting impossible odds for thousands of years. We're good at it." Dr. Ross looked at the medical data from Mike's mission. "There's something else. The Devourers seem to be afraid of unpredictable behavior. They're used to fighting species that use careful, planned tactics. Like us," Zephyr said sadly. "Right, but humans don't always fight carefully. Sometimes we do crazy things that don't make sense that confuses them." Wright stood up and looked at his team. "We're going to hit them in 3 waves. First, we disrupt their communication with sound weapons. Second, we attack their outer defenses with temperature bombs. Third, we go straight for their hive ship." "Sir," Nick said, "even if this works, it's going to be brutal. The Devourers won't just give up." "I know," Wright said. "That's why we're not giving them a choice." Zephyr watched the humans plan their attack. He was amazed by how quickly they had worked out a strategy for total war. The Volari had spent months trying to find a peaceful solution. The humans had spent 3 hours figuring out how to destroy the enemy completely. "Colonel Wright," Zephyr said quietly, "we are grateful for your help, but we are also frightened. Your people are very different from us. Wright looked at him. I understand. But sometimes the galaxy needs someone who's willing to be the monster so that good people can live in peace. Outside the station, the Devourer fleet was getting closer to the Volari homeworld. But for the first time in months, they were about to face an enemy that was just as dangerous as they were. The humans were ready to show the galaxy what Deathworlders could do when they decided to hunt. Captain Andy Gray checked his weapon one last time around him. 20 human soldiers were getting ready for the most dangerous mission of their lives. They were about to attack the main Devourer hive ship. "Remember the plan?" Andy said into his radio. "We go in fast and hard. No mercy, no prisoners. These things want to eat an entire species." Sergeant Julie Kim was setting up her sniper rifle on the UES Liberty. Through her scope, she could see thousands of Devourer ships surrounding their target. "I count over 3,000 enemy vessels. This is going to be tough." Engineer Pete Wilson was in the weapons bay, making final changes to their equipment. "I've modified all our guns to work better against their biology. The bullets will heat up when they hit, and the explosives will create temperature shocks." Medic Chris Lee was preparing medical supplies for both humans and Volari. Doc Ross was right about their weaknesses. "But we're still going to take heavy damage." On the bridge of the UES frontier, Colonel Wright watched the enemy fleet through the main screen. The Devourer hive ship was huge, bigger than a human city. Smaller ships moved around it like angry insects. "Phase 1 begins now," Wright said. The human ships fired their new sound weapons. Visible waves of noise hit the Devourer fleet. Effect was immediate. The enemy ships stopped moving in organized patterns. Some crashed into each other. Others just drifted in space. "It's working," Nick Brown shouted from his station. "Their hive mind communication is disrupted." On the Volari station, Zephyr watched in amazement. "They're confused. In all our months of fighting, we never saw them act this way." "That's because you never attacked their ability to think together," Dr. Ross explained. "Humans learn too. Fight hive minds by studying Earth insects." Wright activated the second phase. Launched temperature bombs. The human ships fired hundreds of small missiles at the Devourer fleet. When the missiles exploded, they created zones of extreme heat and cold. Devourer ships caught in these zones started breaking apart. Julie Kim started picking off individual targets with her rifle. Each shot was perfectly aimed. Confirmed kill on enemy commander's ship. Their formation is falling apart. The Devourers tried to fight back, but they were no longer working together. Some ships attacked each other by mistake. Others fired at empty space where they thought enemies were. "Phase 3, Wright said. "All ships, attack formation." "We're going for the hive?" 3 human ships charged straight at the enemy fleet. Looked like suicide to the watching Volari. But the humans knew what they were doing. Captain Andy Gray's assault team launched from the UES Guardian in small attack ships. They flew through the chaos of the confused Devourer fleet like arrows through a storm. "Stay close to my ship," Andy told his team. "Use the big vessels as cover." They weaved between Devourer ships, using their small size and speed to avoid enemy fire. When Devourers tried to follow them, Julie Kim's sniper shots took them out. "I've never seen anything like this," Zephyr said to Dr. Ross. "Your people fight like they're not afraid of death." "We're very afraid of death," Dr. Ross said. "That's why we're so good at avoiding it." Andy's team reached the hive ship and attached their small ships to its hull. They cut through the metal walls and entered the enemy vessel. Inside the hive ship, everything was dark and wet. The walls looked like they were alive, covered in some kind of organic slime. The air was hot and thick. "This place smells like death," one of Andy's soldiers said. "That's because it is death," Andy replied. "Let's find their queen and end this." Move through the ship's corridors, following the sound of something large, moving deeper inside. Pete Wilson's modified weapons worked perfectly. Every shot that hit a Devourer caused massive damage. Meanwhile, the 3 human ships were fighting their way through the outer defenses. The U's Frontier took heavy damage, but its armor held. The UES Liberty used its speed to avoid most attacks. The UES Guardian provided covering fire for Andy's team. "Colonel," the ship's engineer reported, "we're taking damage on all decks. Hull integrity is down to 60%. "Hold together a little longer," Wright said. "Our people are almost at the target." Deep inside the hive ship, Andy's team found what they were looking for. The Queen was enormous, 3 times bigger than any devourer they had seen. She was connected to the ship by thousands of cables and tubes. "That's how she controls the hive mind," Andy said. "Take her out." The soldiers opened fire with everything they had. The Queen screamed, a sound like metal being torn apart. The entire hive ship shook all around the battle zone. Devourer ships stopped moving. The smaller ones started crashing into each other. The larger ones drifted helplessly. "The hive mind is down," Nick Brown shouted. "All enemy ships have stopped attacking, but the Queen wasn't dead yet." She broke free from her cables and attacked Andy's team with massive claws. 2 soldiers were thrown against the walls. Chrysalie was there immediately to help them. Andy dodged the Queen's attacks and fired his weapon directly into her head. Pete Wilson's modifications made the bullets explode inside her skull. Queen collapsed and stopped moving. Suddenly, all the Devourer ships in the system began to break apart. Without the Queen's control, they couldn't function. "It's over," Wright said with relief. "The threat is eliminated." Back on the Valari station, everyone was quiet. Had watched humans do something that seemed impossible. A small force had destroyed an enemy that had been winning for months. "Your people are truly frightening," Zephyr said to Dr. Ross. "But they saved us all." "That's what humans do," Dr. Ross said. "We fight the monsters so others don't have to." Andy's team returned to their ships, carrying their wounded. The battle was won, but everyone knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy had learned that Earth was ready to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. Julie Kim looked through her scope at the floating wreckage of the Devourer fleet. "Think there are more of them out there?" "Probably," Andy said. "Now they know that Deathworlders are real, and we're not going to let them hurt innocent people." The 3 human ships regrouped near the Valari station. Around them, the space was full of debris from the destroyed enemy fleet. The Valari homeworld was safe. But the humans knew their real work was just beginning. The galaxy was about to learn what it meant to have Earth as a protector. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Grace Taylor arrived from Earth with a larger fleet. She stood in the main meeting room of the Valari station, looking at the reports from the fight. Admiral Taylor asked Colonel Wright. 7 wounded, none dead, Wright replied. "The Valari lost no one during our attack. We saved about 40 million lives on their home world." Zephyr Song of Wounds looked at the humans with a mixture of respect and fear. "Admiral Taylor, your people did something we thought was impossible. You destroyed the Devourers completely. This changes everything. For both our species." The room was quiet for a moment. Outside the windows, they could see Valari ships cleaning up the debris from the battle. The space around their planet was finally safe. "We need to discuss what happens next," Admiral Taylor said. "Earth wants to help, but we also need to understand the bigger picture." Zephyr nodded. "Our people are grateful, but they are also scared." Lieutenant Commander Joe Martinez had been studying galactic communications for the past few days. "Admiral, we're getting messages from all over the galaxy. Word about the battle is spreading fast. What kind of messages?" Dr. Turner asked. "Mixed," Joe said. "Some species are asking for our help with their own problems. Others are warning their neighbors about the dangerous humans from Earth." Kate Adams, who was working on communication networks, looked up from her computer. "I've intercepted over 200 different alien transmissions. Most of them mention Earth specifically." Admiral Taylor walked to the window and looked out at the Valari homeworld below. It was a beautiful planet, with white clouds and blue oceans, very different from Earth, but still a place where people lived and loved and hoped for the future. Zephyr's feathers shifted colors, showing his nervousness. "Yes, Admiral, but we are also grateful. You saved our children, our families, our entire civilization. We know you are not evil, but you are very powerful." Dr. Turner leaned forward. "Power can be used for good or bad. We want to use ours to protect people like you." "But who will protect the galaxy from you?" asked another Valari leader named It was a fair question. We will, Admiral Taylor said simply. Humans protect humans. We have laws, governments, and people who make sure our military is used correctly. Joe Martinez showed them a message on his screen.
Admiral, this just came in.
It's from something called the Galactic Council. They want to meet with us. What do they say? Wright asked. They're offering Earth membership in their organization. But they also want guarantees that we won't attack peaceful species. Zephyr looks surprised. The Galactic Council has never contacted a species this quickly before. Usually it takes centuries to be accepted. Fear makes people move faster, Dr. Turner said. They're scared of what we might do if we're not part of their system. Admiral Taylor made her decision. Dr. Turner, you'll go to meet with this Galactic Council. Make it clear that Earth only fights to protect innocent people. What about us? Zephyr asked. What happens to the Valari now? Wright smiled. You get to rebuild your civilization. But this time, you'll have protection. From Earth? Wind Through Leaves asked. From Earth, Admiral Taylor confirmed. We're going to establish a permanent base in this system. Any species that tries to attack you will have to go through us first. Kate Adams brought up a star map on the main screen. Admiral, I've been tracking other distress signals. There are at least 6 other species currently under attack by different threats, similar to the Devourers. Admiral Taylor asked, different enemies, but the same pattern. Aggressive species attacking peaceful ones.
Us?
The peaceful species don't know how to fight back. Dr. Turner looked at the map. Strong species prey on weak ones, and no one stops them. Until now, Wright said. Zephyr stood up and walked to the window. In our stories, Deathworlders were monsters that destroyed everything they touched. But you destroyed only the things that needed to be destroyed. That's the difference between monsters and protectors, Admiral Taylor said. Monsters hurt innocent people. Protectors hurt the people who hurt innocent people. Joe Martinez received another message. One is from the Valari government. They want to share their advanced technology with us, faster-than-light communication, medical equipment, energy systems. In exchange for what? Dr. Turner asked. Zephyr answered. Protection and friendship. We want to learn from you too. Learn. What? Wright asked. How to be strong, Wind Through Leaves said. Not to fight, but to survive. Our species is too weak. We need to become tougher. Admiral Taylor thought about this. We can teach you to defend yourselves, but you don't need to become like us. The galaxy needs people who choose peace, and it needs people who choose to fight for peace, Zephyr said. Kate Adams finished setting up the new communication network. Admiral, I've established permanent contact with Earth. We can coordinate with other human fleets now. Good, Admiral, Taylor said. Because we're going to be busy. Dr. Turner packed his diplomatic papers. I'll leave for the Galactic Council tomorrow. What should I tell them about Earth's intentions? Admiral Taylor looked around the room at both humans and Valari. Tell them that Earth is offering a deal to the galaxy. We'll protect peaceful species from aggressive ones. In return, we want friendship, trade, and respect. And if they refuse, Wright asked, then we'll protect peaceful species anyway, Admiral, Taylor said, because that's what humans do. 3 months later, the first Earth protection fleet was established in the Kepler 442 system. Other fleets were being sent to 6 more systems where peaceful species needed help. The Galactic Council accepted Earth as a member. But they also passed new laws about Deathworlder species. They were afraid, but they were also grateful. Zephyr sent a message to every species in the galaxy. It was broadcast on all communication channels. To all peaceful civilizations, the message said, the Deathworlders of Earth are indeed frightening. They are capable of terrible violence and destruction, but they are also capable of great kindness and protection. For those who seek to harm the innocent, they are your worst nightmare. For those who seek only to live in peace, they are the greatest allies you could ask for. The message ended with coordinates for Earth and an invitation for peaceful species to make contact. In the months that followed, Earth received hundreds of messages from across the galaxy. Some were asking for help, others were offering friendship. Few were threats from aggressive species who didn't like the new rules, but Admiral Taylor wasn't worried about the threats. The galaxy was learning that when humans said they would protect someone, they meant it. And sometimes, the scariest thing in the universe was exactly what you needed to keep you safe.